Mary Meet, Annie here. This video is, in a way, in response to a video topic I've been seeing friends record about. But as much it's where my own thoughts on that subject took me. I think the original videos, maybe more than one that I saw on this topic, were a discussion around when we witness the behavior of others in community who choose, as a lot of us do, to identify as witch. It sometimes seems as if they are witches who don't witch. For instance, someone who shares in a forum what they do, but don't seem to have a consistency about that. Or those who seem to be a bit adrift in life, not achieving an end, not manifesting things in their life, perhaps complaining a lot, perhaps feeling sorry for themselves a lot, and not doing anything about it. And we could look at those we see that way, and however this venue allows us to see, truly or not see, the honest being at the other end of any of our cameras, we can look at that and say, well, I'm a witch, and because I'm a witch, my life is informed by my actions, by what I do. Saying I'm a witch doesn't make me a witch. It's not even so much what I believe that makes me a witch, it's what I do that makes me a witch. So we can look at others who appear not to be doing, or at least not reporting if they do. Or we get the impression from what they share of their lives, the way they behave in community, that, well, they wouldn't live up to our expectations of what another witch might be. Here's the thing about being a witch, beyond if what I say when I say I am is or is not the same thing that you are when you say you are is, do we really, truly see into each other's lives and challenges? We can each be at a level of learning. We definitely are when it comes to skill and practice. We're also at varying levels of maturity. Energetic, emotional, communal, spiritual maturity. Sometimes we lose our way, and we fall out of our own practice and away from our own routine, and we forget who we are. We have to remember as we go along where our true identity and power lies. What the conversation led me to consider is, maybe not so much specifically if we're witching or we're not witching, but are we living authentically? Are we true to something that is so personal and intimate that it's something we really cannot ever share with others? Are we true to ourselves? Are we true to our inner voice? If we are spiritual or religious witches, and we don't have to be either, in my opinion, to be fine witch, but if we are either of those things, spiritual or religious, are we living authentically, aligned to our higher will and purpose and aligned to our gods? This certainly applies to all paths and experiences, witches that may or may not witch, and anyone who follows any particular path, who does or does not, sometimes or all the time, seem to live in accord with that. If we name ourselves something, is it something that we are then aspiring to? Or is it something we are using as a word to describe what we already are? But are any of us always truly there and present and authentic to that? We all have moments of drift and disconnect. And some of us haven't gotten there yet. So what do we do when we encounter these situations where we find ourselves in a moment, or longer than that, sitting in judgment of another? That what they say they are, we don't see. We don't see a maturity of practice. a maturity of emotion, a maturity of spirituality. And therefore we are thinking, well, I don't know what they are, but they're not, to me, what they say they are. It seems to me there's a bit more to be gained from suspending judgment in a situation like that. We don't know, truly, what level of experience any one of us has, what we've tried, what we are challenged by and confused by, what we are yearning for but have not yet attained. We're all in a particular place in our journey. Sometimes we have a stumble and a setback, and we have to learn all over again, remember who we are. We're not always at our best. And when we see someone, a witch, who does not appear to be witching, who seems to be stumbling through life without any attempt to be in control and grow and transform, surely the most powerful aspects of being a witch, we have to stop and think, are we always in that place ourselves? And why would we take our energy and our time to sit in judgment of another's place in their journey? So the conversation in these interesting videos about perhaps witches who aren't bewitching is an opportunity, as I took it, to think of myself, what I bring here, what I share, what I am when I'm not here and sharing and talking. What am I when I'm not teaching or mentoring? Am I staying connected to my witch self? I should be able to answer the question that I am always witching, that I cannot separate any of that from who I am because it is my purest, most passionate, most fiery center. But I fall short of that sometimes. Sometimes I know it in the process, sometimes I know it later, and sometimes I never do realize I haven't been witching. So what I wanted to add to this conversation is, there's no doubt that we will meet people in our journey in this wonderful, strange, virtual community who say they are as us, and they're not. And that's okay. The persons in their own life, living their own experiences, learning and growing in their own way, evolving as only they can on their path. And we're doing the same thing. In community we decide, who do we feel we have the most in common with, or who do we find most interesting to spend time with? We are giving of our time. When we create videos or when we watch others, moments of our lives have slipped away. And we think about, what was the value to that? Perhaps having an opinion about whether someone else witches or not, which really is having an opinion about, if you say you're the same thing as me, I expect you to behave as I do. Perhaps that is what needs to be released. And perhaps it is an opportunity for the true witch, the wise person, to take another step in their own personal transformation, their constant maturing into what they are when they're at their best. That's my thoughts on witches who don't witch, for those who are truly on a path similar to mine. And I see that they have opportunities to use their skills and their talents and their focus and their belief, and they are not. My heart goes out to them. I've been there. I'm going to be there again, I'm sure. It's so easy to decide another is not, isn't it? But the thing is, we don't know their lives or their challenges. We don't know what they've tried, what they will yet try as they continue to grow and evolve. I've met many people here in our virtual community who have named themselves a similar name to one of the names I use to describe myself, whether it's witch or pagan or Wiccan. We're really not in the same place. But there's no reason for me to judge that another's not living up to my expectations of the name they've given themselves. They either have expectations of what they need to live up to, or they don't. Yeah, it's true. From my perspective, you can't be a witch who feels a victim of your life. A witch is in control of their life. They are the center, in a sense, of their own universe. Nothing can touch them. And they make manifest, they create their lives in every moment of their life. But by naming themselves witch, perhaps someone else is making the first steps in that journey. I'm not seeing them as they have evolved. I am seeing them as they have begun to shift their focus. So to me, the conversation on witches who don't witch was a call to me to stop and think, have I drifted myself? I should be witching every single moment of my life. I should be aware every single moment of my life that I am creating my life and in charge of my life. I should be aware of what I'm aligned to, what my higher purpose is. Am I? Not always. What if you witnessed me at one of those times? A witch not witching because for some reason she's drifted momentarily or for a while. Watching the great videos I've seen on this topic for me has been, I guess I could say, a lesson in humility. Because I certainly have seen videos thinking, I don't know what that person is, but I don't think they are what they say they are. Then again, who am I to decide that? I wish you all mirth and reverence. Braveheart.